Hello everyone watching. This is a 2000 Jaguar XJ8 and I am trying to do the thermostat housing and thermostat replacement. I've heard that it's a pretty tricky job. I couldn't really find that many videos actually on YouTube about how to do this, so I thought I'd make my own as I go along. Now the problem came because I was having a leak from under the cap. Let's see, here's the cap right here. I was having a leak that was pretty severe from under that cap, and when I tried to take the cap off, the threads came with the cap. So as you see right there, everything just ripped off, and it was pretty bad. I had tried to put on some JB Weld to try to stop the leak before, but it just kept coming and that didn't solve it. And when I tried to take this off, the whole thing just ripped off, and as you can see, it's very brittle inside there, so I would assume the entire thermostat housing is very brittle. I do want to replace the coolant crossover tube, this right here, in the future. However, I don't have the part right now, so I'll have to do that later. Anyway, stay tuned. All right, here I am on the other side. The first thing I am doing is taking off this pipe right here. I've already taken the clamp off, and it should just be able, if I can, get it to wiggle off. I don't know how long it's been on there or if it's ever been taken off since it was made, but let me try this and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I was able to get the tube off, just took 2 hands to do it. My next step is going to be taking off the coolant crossover pipe and all the connections, bolts and electronics and stuff, so I can get access to the housing. Alright, so I've undone some of the connections. The electronics came off, and you can really see how brittle this plastic is. I mean, it's starting to chip away, if I can get it to focus. Starting to chip away right there, which is quite concerning. So I'm actually thinking of pausing this project until I get a new crossover tube, because it's just gonna start leaking any day now pretty much. All right, now that I've got the tube right here and the electronics disconnected, my next task is to undo all the bolts that are holding this on. I believe there's 2 on this side and 2 on that side. I may be wrong, but that's what I think right now. All right, now undoing all the bolts on either side has allowed us to undo that clamp on the top and take our coolant crossover pipe out. And you can see, if I can get it to focus, which it doesn't want to do, just how kind of corroded and destroyed this is. So I'm definitely going to want to buy a new one of these in the future, because that doesn't look healthy. All right, my next step is going to be removing this piece right here, and I believe it's just 2 bolts. Actually 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. Those 2 right there, and that one right there shouldn't be too hard. All right, so I ran into a small problem. It's not a big one, but these 3 bolts that I was just talking about, they don't come out. I believe the plastic is so brittle that when I tried to turn this, it just stripped it, and that same thing happened on all 3. So I'm just gonna not take this off and leave this connected to the thermostat housing, and I'm trying to focus on these back bolts here. I don't know if you can see, but it's really hard to get those. Can't get those with a normal socket because the intake manifold is in the way. So we had to actually bend a wrench at almost 90 degrees in order to get those off. So you will definitely need to bend your own wrench and kind of break the old housing to get it off. But that's really the only thing you want to do. Thanks to Trevor for helping me out, bending the tools and stuff. That's a sweet pose. And also, before you go anywhere else, try to smooth out all the gunk or whatever off this surface as best you can. But you want a nice smooth contact surface where they can meet and not let coolant jump out of there. Alright, and now I have my housing with the thermostat, the brand new thermostat inside, and everything is good. And now I'm going to put it on there. Don't forget your rubber gasket seals. And those bolts should be easier to put back in than they were to take out, being that they're not seized right now. But yeah, good luck. Alright, and here's a little pro tip I found. Because there's a bad place down there, you don't want to drop your bolt down there while you're trying to get it into that back corner. Just use like a little telescoping pen to guide it back there to drop it in the hole. That way you don't lose it. Yeah, and as you can see, this is not fun. The job definitely favors people that are good with chopsticks, so maybe if you're Chinese or If your neighbor's Chinese, you can have him help you. All right, I'm gonna try to give you an idea of how tight this space is. So each time I'm getting about, it's a 6th turn. And then I have to try to fit it back on, turn it again, 6th turn. And then I try to, oh, come on, see now, oh no, I've turned it back. Come on, there we go. And as you can see, I have to do that 6 times to get the screw to go around once. Let's see if I can get it again. Oh, that one was easier. Very nice. I'm getting the hang of this. Kinda slip on. Alright, and yes, this is a tiny screw. So this is quite tight in here. Dude, that's tight. I mean, we're in California, right? Everything's tight. There we go. Sweet. Working on my Jaguar. Working real hard on my Jaguar. Trying to fix that. This is awesome. If anyone's watching here from the UK, I do not say Jaguar. I definitely say Jaguar, which I believe is the correct American way to say it, as opposed to Jaguar, which is how most people say it over here, which I can't stand. Every time I would always hear it on TV, I would hear, hurry in and grab the new deal on the XF at your local Jaguar dealer. And so that's how I've always said it, Jaguar. But everyone around here says Jaguar or Jaguar, which is pretty gross. For an 18-year-old car, the plastics are really brittle. I mean, basically all the clips I had to take off, most of them broke. At least like the connector part of it. So they're still good, but I mean, it's scary working on this engine there. Oh, there we go. It's tight. Dude, it's so tight. Alright, and now to just reconnect the hoses and electrical clips. This is what I was talking about with the plastics being brittle. This is supposed to clip onto that metal thing right there, but I couldn't even press the tab to unhook it. It just broke without even putting that much pressure on it. And you can see with all these plastics, it's just, everything is crispy. And I mean, see if you can hear this. Yeah, just all the plastics in here are just scary to work with. All right, and now that we've got the electrical connection, see this side broke off too. Now that we've got all the, man, that is just so scary, all the crackly plastics and stuff. But anyway, now that we've got all the hoses connected on, I'm going to put on my new coolant crossover pipe. This looks so much better than the old one. Alright, so it looks like we are all hooked up and ready to go, and the last thing we need to do is just fill this whole coolant system, put the cap on, and we should be good to go. Alright, and next day, you can see everything looks nice. I wasn't able to start last night. My battery was dead, so I'm charging it right now with a jump starter. And everything looks pretty nice. The finishing on the housing and the pipe, the coolant pipe, look pretty nice. And you may have noticed that I used the plastic cap instead of the metal one. That's because the gasket on the inside of the metal one was like a circular ring, and it just didn't look like it would work that good. And I had a spare cap, and it looked like that one had a flat washer seal on the inside, and it seemed like it would hold it better. So I'm trying this one for now. So hopefully no leaks, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I did end up needing a head gasket repair, which was not cheap, but it's all put back together and fantastic. And I just finished cleaning it, and now it runs fantastic. And there we go. That's how to do a thermostat housing, thermostat, and coolant crossover pipe replacement. And now I got my car back. Anyway, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time, maybe.